The power of vulnerability in relationships in 2025. When most people hear the word vulnerability, they immediately think of weakness, fragility, or exposure to harm. For years, we've been conditioned to believe that in relationships, whether romantic, family, or friendship, strength comes from having the upper hand, guarding our emotions, and protecting ourselves from hurt. But in 2025, the world is changing. Emotional intelligence, mental health awareness, and authentic connection are valued more than ever. And at the heart of these changes lies one of the most misunderstood yet transformative concepts: vulnerability. Vulnerability is not about being reckless with your heart or oversharing with strangers. It's about the courage to be yourself without masks. Share your truths without the guarantee of acceptance, and lean into the discomfort of uncertainty. In relationships, vulnerability can be the very thing that deepens intimacy, builds trust, and fosters love that feels safe, supportive, and real. 1. Why vulnerability matters more than ever in 2025. We live in an age where technology allows us to curate our lives into perfect images and highlight reels. Social media can make us feel like everyone else is confident, flawless, and in control. Yet, behind the screens, many are lonely, disconnected, and craving genuine connection. This is where vulnerability becomes a superpower. When you open up and share your strengths, struggles, fears, and dreams, you invite others to do the same. You create a space for real human connection, something algorithms can't replicate. In 2025, as more people value emotional authenticity over perfection, relationships built on vulnerability stand out. They feel rare, they feel alive, and they feel safe. 2. The link between vulnerability and trust. Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, no amount of romance, shared goals, or chemistry can sustain a connection. However, trust isn't built solely by promises or time, but through vulnerability. You're taking a risk when you reveal your honest thoughts, emotions, and even insecurities. You're essentially saying, "I'm showing you the parts of me that could hurt if you judge or reject them, but I trust you with them." That act alone signals faith in the other person, and trust grows deeper when they respond with kindness, understanding, or reciprocal openness. This mutual exchange of vulnerability creates what researchers call emotional safety, a feeling that you can be authentic without fear of being shamed or abandoned. 3. Dispelling the myths about vulnerability. To embrace vulnerability, we must challenge the myths that have kept us from practicing it. Myth 1. Vulnerability is weakness. It takes incredible strength to show up fully and be seen. It's easy to hide behind walls, it's hard to let them down. Myth 2. Vulnerability means oversharing. Healthy vulnerability isn't dumping every detail of your life onto someone without boundaries. It's intentional openness shared at the right time with the right person. Myth 3. Vulnerability is only for deep moments. In truth, vulnerability can be found in everyday acts like admitting you don't know something, asking for help, or expressing appreciation. 4. How vulnerability deepens intimacy. Intimacy is often confused with physical closeness, but real intimacy is emotional closeness. It's the feeling of being deeply known and deeply accepted. Vulnerability is the bridge to that kind of connection. When you tell your partner, "I'm afraid of losing you," or admit to a friend, "I've been struggling, and I need your support," you invite them into your inner world. You are letting them see the parts of you that most people hide. The more two people can share their inner truths without fear, the more they build a relationship where both can be fully themselves, flaws, quirks, and all. 5. The courage to go first. One of the most complex parts of vulnerability is going first. Most people wait for the other person to open up before they do, fearing that they'll be judged or rejected. But vulnerability is contagious. Someone has to lead the way. In 2025, the most meaningful relationships will belong to those who dare to take the first step. Whether it's expressing affection, apologizing first, or admitting your feelings, the willingness to initiate vulnerability can completely shift the energy of a relationship. 6. Practical ways to practice vulnerability in relationships. If vulnerability is new to you, here are some gentle ways to start. 1. Share something personal about your day beyond the usual, "I'm fine," or "it was okay." 2. Express feelings in real time instead of bottling them up. 3. Admit mistakes without trying to justify them. 4. Ask for help when needed, even for small things. 5. Offer appreciation or affection without waiting for a special occasion. 7. Balancing vulnerability and boundaries. Vulnerability doesn't mean you abandon self-respect or give people unlimited access to your emotions. Healthy vulnerability is balanced with healthy boundaries. Boundaries protect your energy, while vulnerability opens your heart. Together, they create relationships where you can be open without being drained and connected without losing yourself. 8. The role of vulnerability in conflict. Disagreements are inevitable in any relationship, but how you approach them determines whether they bring you closer or push you apart. Vulnerability during conflict might look like saying, "I felt hurt when you said that," instead of lashing out. "I want us to understand each other," instead of focusing on winning the argument. "I'm scared this fight means you don't care about me," instead of shutting down. This kind of honesty can transform conflict into an opportunity for deeper understanding and repair. 9. Vulnerability and emotional resilience. Here's the paradox. The more vulnerable you are, the stronger you become. Why? Because when you face your fears of rejection, judgment, or failure and survive, you realize you are more resilient than you thought. You learn that you can be hurt and still heal, misunderstood and still stand in your truth. Vulnerability doesn't make you fragile. It builds emotional muscle. 10. Vulnerability as a path to self-acceptance. Vulnerability isn't just about letting others see you, it's about allowing yourself to see you. When you drop the masks, you come face to face with who you are. And over time, you learn to embrace that person entirely. In relationships, this self-acceptance means you no longer need to perform or please constantly. You show up as yourself, and the right people will love you for it. 11. Why 2025 is the year to embrace vulnerability. As the world becomes more connected digitally, but often more disconnected emotionally, the people who stand out will be the ones who lead with authenticity. In dating, friendships, and workplace relationships, vulnerability will be key in building trust and loyalty. In a world of noise, vulnerability is the quiet voice that says, "I see you. I hear you. I care." 12. Final thoughts. Vulnerability in relationships isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about showing up even when you're scared, speaking your truth even when your voice shakes, and trusting that being your authentic self is enough. In 2025, the thriving relationships will be rooted in this kind of openness. Because when two people are willing to be vulnerable with each other, they create not just love, but a bond that can weather any storm.